Hi, I'm Sam Salustra. I'm with the Business Network for Offshore Wind, and we're here for another segment of the Business Network's WindTV. We're joined here by Andy Malpas of Kent, Elizabeth Krause of KL and Gates, and Paula Majors of Mainstream Renewables. So they're here to talk about their new handbook, out now. Look at that. So I'll turn it over to you all, and tell us about the handbook and what's inside and why everyone needs to pick this up. So go right ahead.
Terrific. Well, on behalf of KNL Gates, Kent, and Mainstream Renewable Power, I'm very pleased to announce the launch of the 2022 Offshore Wind Handbook. 2021 was a banner year for offshore wind in the U.S. between the approvals of two new projects in federal waters and the announcement of the 7 leases by the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management before 2025. So KNL, Mainstream, and Kent have pooled our technical and regulatory resources together to create this guide for investors and new market entrants in this exciting industry.
And at Kent, we've been engineering offshore projects for over 20 years now, so we really want to bring that knowledge and experience through this handbook to help the US meet state and federal targets over the next decade, but do so in such a way that we can really leverage and build on the lessons learned from Europe and really help create a local supply chain. And I think that's going to be really important to bring down the cost of energy over here.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. In the United States, right, we have a very challenging environment. We've got the Jones Act, environmental and fisheries regulations, weird tax incentives that we all have to navigate with for finance. But the ability to partner with our colleagues in Europe is huge, and we're really looking forward to being able to collaborate with international teams on these projects.
That's great. Paula, tell us what we're kind of looking forward to, please.
Yeah, I mean, you know, last year was a really exciting year. New York established itself as a leader for fixed bottom and a center of activity. I think later this year, California, with the lease auction coming up, California can establish itself as a leader for floating technology. There's exciting opportunities for developers and supply chain companies to innovate as we help California reach its decarbonization goals by 2045. And we're also really looking forward to all the lease sales coming up. We have Gulf of Mexico, obviously, and Oregon and Mid-Atlantic beyond the California auction.
Yeah, but these are such long-term projects. I mean, I think, which is fabulous, right? We need to do a lot of planning ahead and so forth, but we also need to do a really good job of anticipating policy changes. I just came from a really great breakfast on floating offshore wind. We're really talking about how deep you need to go on all of these various things for planning purposes.
And the same applies for engineering as well. I mean, technologically, a lot can change in 5 to 10 years, which is kind of the development phase we're talking about. And so for us, having a really clear timetable of permitting and supply chain milestones is really critical to make sure we meet that end goal.
Yeah. And we were talking a little bit before, this is just in the last time that this handbook came out, there's been a sea change of changes and everything. So, okay, so you all have copies of it, but where can everyone else get a handbook?
Well, my colleagues have been scattering flyers all over the place with QR codes, and there are a few printed copies floating around. It's online, obviously hosted on the KNL Gates website right now. So.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us, and congratulations on getting this publication across the line.
Great.
As we've done our own publications, we know that how hard it is, especially in the last couple minutes. So Andy, Elizabeth, Paula, thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us for another segment of IPF industry announcements. And stay tuned for more WindTV.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.